Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Erin Elizabeth Weinberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Today we have a full moon in Capricorn, so this is our full moon reading for the month of June. Today's full moon is a supermoon strawberry moon. Supermoon just means it's closer to the earth than a normal moon based on the rotation of the earth and the moon. So this is the last supermoon in a collection of supermoons we've had. So you'll probably will seem bigger to you. Maybe you'll feel the energy more. So we have a supermoon. And then this is a strawberry moon, which means, that just means it's the last full moon in spring or the first one of the summer for people in the northern hemisphere. So like usual, full moon reading, you want to release things, you want to let things go, you want to kind of notice which things are coming to the end of their cycle that you want to release and let go of. Like I said, this is a full moon in Capricorn. Maybe I said that, I can't remember, but this is Capricorn. If you're not watching this on the full moon, there might be a message in here for you if you chose to click on this reading. So I've gone ahead and inserted a picture of the 4 groups I have for you today. You can go ahead and take your time. You can choose by the number, you can choose by the affirmation you can see. You can pause the video and choose the one that feels best to you. Okay, and then when you're ready, all the timestamps are below, so I will see you at the reading that you chose. Hello everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 1. So as a reminder, the full moon is about letting things go, releasing. So I'm going to read the cards in that way. But of course, whatever comes up for you, my readings are just meant to be a mirror for you to connect to some knowing you already have within yourself that for some reason I'm just not connecting to right away. So take it how it resonates. This is a general reading. But again, because this is a full moon, we're looking at kind of releasing things and cycles ending and what you can let go of. Okay, so group number 1, you picked, I'm willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome. Very nice. And then the other side says illuminating the truth. Okay, so I think this is just a good reminder for everyone who picked this group, whether you picked on the number or the statement, anything like this. I'm willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome. Sometimes we're in denial about something or the truth or something like this just because we think it's going to mean something about us, or we aren't going to be able to handle the truth, or there's going to be something in there that just doesn't feel the best, or what the implications or what we'll have to do or choose or change within our life based on holding and recognizing that truth. So if this card came up for you, you can just think about maybe which things you've been in denial about, which things you need to let go or release so that you can start to move forward. Maybe it is accepting that the way you thought a certain thing was going to go isn't actually going to happen, or this particular thing just wasn't meant for you, even if you really hoped it was, right? So I'm willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome. Nothing can be changed until it's accepted or until we kind of see things for how they really are. So if you pick this group, there might be something about, letting yourself see things clearly so that you can release maybe some of like the stagnant or hopefulness. I don't want to say hopefulness, but the stagnant or believing something that maybe just isn't going to happen. And that doesn't mean, you're not going to have what you want or things aren't going to be abundant or amazing for you. It's just, they're just not happening in this particular way. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot and then we'll clarify with your oracle cards at the end. So opening your reading, we have the King of Cups. We have the Sun. We have the World. We have Knight of Pentacles. 2 of Pentacles. Knight of Wands. And Page of Wands. Okay, so I'm just making room for this here. Okay, so opening your reading, I feel like with King of Cups, this is like a lot of, this is a really powerful first half of your reading. So we have King of Cups, the Sun, and then the World. Okay, so all right in a row. So King of Cups, this is about like emotional fulfillment. This is like, a lot of this energy of like emotional intelligence, just a lot of awareness and connection to your emotions and how they're affecting you, how they're showing up in your life, what it can mean for you to be all of that. So this combined with the Sun and the World, I feel like you've been, at some point in your life, you've been on like a really abundant streak. Like these are all really high vibrational, high energy cards. So we have the King of Cups with about emotional fulfillment. Then we have the Sun, which is about being the ray of light, having a lot of beautiful sun energy, a lot of newness, a lot of like all of that energy in your life. And then the world, which is about, the world is at your hands. This is about completion of cycles. This is about, encompassing a lot of what you worked for. And so I think what's coming up, especially because this moon is in Capricorn, Capricorn is about hard work. It's about, putting in the effort to do things, to accomplish things. If this is resonating for you, I think with this full moon, you can take some time to let go of maybe any self-doubt you have about yourself, or any like, um, thinking like, oh, I don't know if I'm emotionally intelligent enough for this. I don't know if I have what it takes. I don't know, if I can be the person that I need to be to have this, or this thing in my life to be a match for this like emotional, um, the emotional intelligence required for this. Also with the sun, this is obviously there's a happy naked baby on here, so this is about like abundant energy. It's about like, having your inner child guide you. It's about being a ray of light, being a positive influence in there, so you have that as well. And then the world again is about completing things. It's about having things come into your life. It's about having things, just show up, and you complete cycles of things that you've worked towards. So I think with this, if you have any limiting beliefs or doubts about yourself, maybe you've completed something in your life. It's really common for humans that once we complete something, we can kind of negate all of the work or effort we've had to put in to do that. And we're just like, okay, next, like, what's the next thing I need to do? What's the next thing I need to work on? Where's the next place I need to go? Instead of taking a little bit of time and be like, wow, I really did this, this, and this. I put in the time, I put in the effort. I made it possible. I'm proud of myself. So this can be about just really recognizing, letting go of maybe, did I deserve to have that happen? Is that something that, was it a fluke, or this person helped me so much and that's why I achieved it, right? So letting go of some of that judgment energy on yourself can be really helpful for this full moon, and just kind of like releasing that, trusting yourself. Because what we have in the center of your reading, the Knight of Pentacles, this is like journey towards the next layer of abundance that we have here. So this is this is like slow and steady on your way. So this is like a little bit of a slower energy card in the tarot, but it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. And you can see the knight is, looking at the coin. The coins represent abundance, not just physical abundance, but all types of abundance you want to call into your life. And so knowing you are moving towards that, you can go into the direction that you want in your life. This can be something that you want to have happen for yourself, and you do want to be made manifest in your life, right? So the next layer of things for you. So this is about recognizing, I think, when you complete this whole cycle, letting go of some of those doubts, and letting go of like, what fear is coming up for you around this that makes you feel like maybe you can't complete that. Maybe that like, sometimes we hold on to stories people tell us, or something someone said to us once, like many, many years ago, and we're still like kind of holding on to that as truth, when it doesn't need to be, it doesn't need to have that much weight in our lives anymore. And so just saying like, okay, what can I let go of, that maybe some doubts and fears that are coming up for me that might seem like I'm blocking myself, or might make it seem like I can't get to this next layer of abundance in my life, So kind of letting go of some of those doubts or fear thoughts, journaling on them, just getting clear about like, oh wow, I didn't even realize I was still holding, excuse me, sorry. I didn't even realize I was still holding on to this, or this belief. And now that I am, I can let it go and kind of move forward towards this abundance. So I think with this full moon, you can ask yourself, what is in the way of me blocking myself towards what I want? And what can I kind of make space for in my life as I'm moving forward? Because from that, we go into the Two of Pentacles, which you see this person, obviously, there's the infinity sign of abundance around the two coins. And this is about, choices. So you're going to have options. So as you continue to move forward towards what you want and do that, you're going to see you are way more capable than you think you are. And once you're like on the path towards something and focused on it, it opens up so much more for us than what we could have imagined like otherwise. So with this card, we have the Two Pentacles, and you're juggling options. So I think things are going to open up for you. And if it feels like nothing's happening, or like you just got clear about this next thing you want to work towards, or this next layer of abundance you want, and it feels like, okay, I'm just starting, I feel really stuck, I don't know where to go. Once you just kind of see those options and kind of hold your energy, you're going to be like, wow, I actually have way more power, way more choice. A lot of ideas and thoughts are like coming forward that I didn't realize I had. And just really owning that, and just trusting that you can have a lot of choices for what you want. And then I think the last thing that's coming up in your reading with the Knight of Wands and the Page of Wands, so these two right in a row, we can see that I think this is really just saying careful not to go too hard, too fast at something. And this is, move at like a more peaceful pace and really owning like the embodiment of allowing things to come to you. So with, because I think they're both wands, they're just a little bit separate energy here. So wands is about creating something new. It's about like new things coming into your life. So again, I think this is related to the abundance we're talking about. But you see this Knight of Wands, right? This is like running forward, really reckless. The horse is like on back two legs, ready to go. Just moving forward in a way that might not be super sustainable. Or maybe you see one thing that you think you might want and you just like, just kind of like tunnel vision and go towards it, and like that's it. So this is saying about be a little bit mindful. Like sometimes we can get really excited, we're waiting for something, maybe we see something and we're like, okay, that's got to be it because I waited so long and where is it and all this stuff. But sometimes that doesn't have to be how it is. So just being mindful of that and giving yourself space to kind of be patient with your process and not just like run into infinity because you see something that has like 20, 30, 40% of what you want, and just being like, boom, there it is, here I go. Like, don't force things is what I'm hearing. And then because instead, when you like are mindful and you make a decision that's more based on like, okay, I could choose this or this thing, or this is how it could be for me, or I could have a little more say in these things I want or what I want to have happen, right? That's this Page of Wands energy of just like, even here, like you see this person's like examining it, right? So like, is this for me? Does this match what I want? Does this, sometimes we get really excited when we see something that is like close to what we want, that we can just like not even think, we might not even like factor ourselves into it. So it's like, hey, this thing looks pretty good, seems pretty good, but is it a match for me? Is it something that I want? Is it something that feels good to me, as well as, maybe fits this, and this checklist in there. So don't lose sight of yourself with this. And I think just let go of this full moon. You can focus on, what ways am I willing to compromise that I don't want to do that anymore, right? What can I let go of that maybe I feel like I need to compromise in this, and this way, but you don't have to anymore. So now I'm going to look at your oracle cards for some more clarification. Okay. All right, beautiful. Okay, so we'll start with this one. So this is the Amazon. It's a 7, so maybe 7 is a sign for you, but this is the Amazon bird. And this represents energy of like being a student, of like, in Earth School, we're always students. Once we master one level, there's the next level for us to get to, the next thing for us to learn, the next thing for us to work through. So there are a lot of, we graduate from one thing and we're really happy, but then, there's going to be the next layer of it. So I feel like this is that energy we were talking about with this, of like, you did it, you completed the task, you did everything you wanted, but now it's time to tap back into like that, student energy of just being like, what can I learn here? What is the next layer for me? What is like, which things work for me and which things don't work for me? And when we think about like, beginner mindset and like, okay, I know this and this works for me, but maybe I don't need to repeat this thing that I did that I was doing the last time. I mean, take it how it resonates for you, but this is about student energy. And this is about just, again, being open to a lot of options, being open to maybe you kind of rush into things, or you think like, I need to choose this thing over that thing, or this is like my first sign of possibly having what I want, so I need to choose it. And you can't choose wrong, and we can always choose again, and we can always make a way for ourselves and all of that. But this is really saying like, just be mindful of being a student and like not rushing in and being reflective and just thinking like, okay, what can I learn from this? What can it offer me? All of that, besides just like, I'm ready to claim my thing, like, here we go. And sometimes this can go back to what that first affirmation you had of, I'm willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome. So sometimes it can be painful to be like, to hold ourselves accountable and to be like, wow, previously, I would rush into something, and I'm going to choose to not do that now, even though it sucks and it's really hard, but I know that's not what I'm supposed to do this time. And these two cards are match a lot of that, of course. So we have higher perspective. It's so pretty. And then we have, I'm a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. So again, this is just reminding us that like going through hard times isn't punishment. Like anytime we have to learn another lesson or be different or like go to that next layer of knowing ourselves and having this higher perspective, it's like we're here to we're here to grow, and we're here to get closer to love. Just means like get closer to this vibration of being pure and clean, and like not buying into some of these ego games that exist on earth. And both of these cards have like the beautiful third eye image on there. So maybe you want to do a third eye chakra meditation, or like clear out some of the energy from your third eye. But this is really about just acknowledging, there's forces going on and things that are going on within our lessons, more so than the thing we're actually like trying to get, right? A lot of times we're fed this lie of like, okay, well, if I just work harder for this, or if I just work to have this, or once I achieve this, then like I mastered life and that's what I'm here to do. But that's not the truth. The truth is like what we learn along the way is just as, if not more important than the thing we're like working towards. And then remember, like there is no arrival. So once you get this next thing, when we think about, again, the student energy, like there's just there's always more things to learn in earth. That's just part of being on earth. And that's just a reminder of this, like you're not being punished. You're not like, oh my God, I have to go to the next thing, I have to keep growing, I have to expanding, right? Like sometimes there's some schools of thought that argue once you've done all the learning you could possibly do, like then you can leave earth, and then you can come back and try again, because you've learned everything you need to learn, like from this perspective here. And so if that's triggering in any way, just remember that you can never get it done, and there's always things to learn in earth, and you're not alone. This is like, the spiritual path is just so much unlearning forever, 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 forever. And so we have this card, be positive. Your thoughts can shape your experience, so be sure to focus on the positive. So this is obviously not, I don't promote any spiritual bypassing. So if you are having a hard time, or if it is challenging for you to like let go of some beliefs, or like maybe you're judging yourself, like I'm not saying you should just like skip over any of that, like definitely not. But this is saying like, how can I look at this from my higher perspective, right? So like, sometimes something I do that's helpful for me in reframing is if I think like, okay, if I wrote a letter to myself from God, like explaining why I was in this situation, then what can I get out of that? So if it could just be like a time for you to learn to be more compassionate and patient with yourself. Like, sometimes the lesson is simply just to be nicer to yourself, to not change any of the circumstances, not accept them, not condone them. I mean, we have to accept things, but not like be okay with them, but just, it is a lesson in just being kinder to yourself and, being positive. So if you can find the meaning in something, even if it is just to be patient and kinder to yourself, then like that's the whole point of why we have to learn things. And then last card we have is Athena, inner wisdom. You know what to do, trust your inner wisdom and take appropriate action without delay. So very beautiful. So I think this is really saying, as you are moving towards this next thing of abundance that you want, it is about letting go, because again, full moon, we want to focus on letting go of things. So this is about releasing like some of these habits that might have come up and been like, oh, before I used to do this, this, and this, but now I'm going to choose to, do this other thing, right? So the inner wisdom is, a lot of times we know what the next lesson is for us, or we know ways that like are not working for us, but we still try to do them. Okay, I'm sure none of us have ever done that before, but so this is about just trusting that inner wisdom and knowing, like this going back to what we're saying with this, I'm willing to see things clearly no matter the outcome. Oops. So just knowing that like, you have this inner wisdom, you kind of know what the next thing for you to let go of or not do or whatever is for you. And so just like really holding on to that and moving forward with that. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hello everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. As a reminder, for a full moon, this is about releasing. So I will be reading the cards in that way in terms of things you can let go of, but obviously whatever comes up for you, please trust that you know yourself more than I do. Don't give your power away to me like a person reading tarot on YouTube. Okay, so trust what comes up for you, but this is just, there is a message in here for you if you're watching this reading. Okay, so this is group 2. So my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. Okay, so really beautiful. So sometimes, when we go through things or we have these moments where we're kind of like judging ourselves, or we don't feel the best, or we're like, there's like a rejected part of us that comes up, and we can feel a lot of shame or embarrassment, or like we're extra mean on ourselves for that part. This is really saying like, can you send some compassion to yourself? Can you send some loving energy for yourself? If that's hard for you to do, just think about like someone, a friend you love and care about, or someone who you're close with. And think like, okay, if they told you they were going through this particular thing or were feeling this type of way, what would you say to them? that was like very loving and compassionate, right? So this is really just saying for this full moon, if you can let go of some of the judgment, maybe ask yourself, where have I been judging myself really harshly? Or maybe where have I feel like I should be this type of way versus that type of way, right? So kind of releasing some of, looking at some of those rejected, unhealed parts of us, and instead just being like, okay, this is actually a place where I can offer myself some more love and compassion versus, continuing to judge myself or be mean to myself, or yeah, just not showing myself like some loving kindness energy. Okay, so like usual, I'll start with your tarot and then we'll end with your oracle cards. So opening your reading, we have the Hierophant. Then we have 10 of Wands. Then we have the Hanged Man. Then we have the King of Pentacles, very nice. And then we have the Queen of Cups, also very nice. Then we have the High Priestess, a lot of big powerful ones right in a row. And then the Page of Cups. Okay, so what I think with this full moon, the theme of your reading, the sun of your reading, is the King of Pentacles. So this is a time for you. Capricorn is an earth sign. Pentacles are associated with the earth sign in astrology. So this is a time for you to kind of like get clear about the abundance you want to call into your life and kind of release any limiting blocks or beliefs or judgment you might have about why you can't get there. Because like this is you, right? This is the theme of your reading. And so I think we'll get into it. But with this full moon, you can think about like, what are some things you can let go of? And even going back to, this card that was on top, what are some things you can release that maybe ways that you're judging yourself or feel like you're not good enough, or, any of that maybe just isn't serving you anymore, right? It's like easier said than done, I know, but just really thinking about, what can you release? Like if you don't feel like this is you, what are the stories you're telling yourself that feel like you can't connect to that, right? So what's going on within you? What stories are you telling yourself that feel like this isn't you, that you can kind of try and release or let go or soften with this full moon energy? Because I see what's going on here is, leading. So we have the Hierophant to the 10 of Wands and then into the Hanged Man. I always want to talk about one, but then I see how they're all connected, so I pick them up. But okay, so the Hierophant, I feel like this is like very traditional energy. This is like a lot of, I need to be doing this, or this is the path for me, or this is the way I need to be existing, or this is, what I need to be doing as someone. So maybe this is, and then, right, compared with this, it's like, breaking your back, doing too much work, pushing really hard. So I think these two together, this is really saying like, maybe what ways have you pushed yourself in a box of like, okay, well, I'm like this, so I can't be like this. Or because I'm this way, I can't be this way. Or, maybe if I'm from this particular whatever, then I can't be this, or this. So this, I just feel like it's caused you a lot of like harm and judgment, and like if I'm this thing, then I also can't be this thing, or just perpetuating this limiting belief about yourself that doesn't resonate for you, doesn't feel good for you. This could even be like if some authority figure in your life, so like maybe a teacher, a parent, a religion, a culture, whatever, something with like authority over you maybe told you a story about yourself when you were really young, or you got the message in some way that like you just internalized it, doesn't feel good for you, but you've just like continued to hold on to that, which no judgment, we all do that, right? It's part of getting socialized. But that might be coming up of like, it's like been really painful and really hard for you to carry that, literally carry, right, all those stories, all those beliefs, all those lies about yourself that don't feel good. And then that resulted in this Hanged Man energy of just like, I give up, I surrender, like I'm done, put me up, like I cannot carry on carrying all of this stuff anymore, right? So this is just ways of like, I really cannot do this. I really cannot like play myself anymore. I cannot buy into these stories about myself anymore. It's just something that is not helpful or present for me like at all. And so I think maybe you're at a breaking point, because this is a full moon. This is about releasing stuff. You're at a breaking point of like, okay, these are things that are actually not good for me. They're not serving me. They're not, like this internalized thing of who I think I'm supposed to be got to the point where it just doesn't feel good. And it's like a lot of, emotional stress and labor to continue carrying that. And maybe you have some like self-judgment about yourself about it, which is why, we have my shadow shows me where my love needs to be sent. So just maybe some parts of you that you've rejected or felt what you felt weren't good enough, or any of that might be coming up, because what we have is the King of Pentacles, in the center of your reading. Like I said, this like, this is who you really are, not this like you that you have to shove and put into a box, or like judge yourself, or be like, this is so confusing and tiring and exhausting, and I don't feel like this is me, right? Because it's not you, right? We're not supposed to. There is a healthy level of self-sacrifice and growth on earth, but it's not to where you reject your pure inner self. That's not what we're talking about here. That's not what I'm about. That's not what I want anyone to be about, right? Who you are and like the pureness of your soul is helpful and good and contributes to the world in a wonderful, amazing way. And so this is really looking at, releasing like some of the programming that might be holding you back. Because what I see is like so beautiful. We have the Queen of Cups and the High Priestess right after this King of Pentacles. So this is like, Queen of Cups is about high emotional intelligence, about connecting to your intuition. It's about being clear, about feeling those feelings. And then High Priestess, same thing. It's like otherworldly energy, magical energy, strong intuition, knowing who you are, hearing your voice, knowing what to do, knowing who you are, trusting in that, having faith in who you are, being able to navigate all of that. So those two things together are really, really powerful. And I feel like that's telling me, those two things will result in like abundant reality for you when you honor your intuition, honor your emotional intelligence, honor what comes up for you, honor what feels right for you. And then when you do that, when you start to own that energy, what can come up is this Page of Cups, which is really amazing. So it's really beautiful because we have the Queen of Cups and then we have Page of Cups as like the final card in your reading. That doesn't mean you're gonna like transition down, like that's not what we're saying, but this is saying with this Queen of Cups energy, it really is about knowing if that's who you are really at your core, and then like connecting to your intuition and using some of those emotions and energy to guide you to like how you want to do that, what feels right for you, taking one step on the path, one thing at a time, like unlearning some of this shadow programming. When you do that, like you're going to be surprised, right? Page of Cups is about surprise because this fish comes out of the cup out of nowhere, right? So you're going to be surprised at the ways that you can hear yourself, the ways you can talk to yourself, the ways that feel good for you to show up for yourself, right? So this is really about just owning who you are and just knowing that like this Page of Cups, right? It is a process to go from the page to the queen, but as long as you listen to your intuition and trust yourself and take one step at a time, one thing at a time, follow the path that is laid out for you, like just doing your part of it, you are going to get there, and it is going to be something that you can get through and get to the other side with. And so I think again with this full moon, just kind of like you can reflect on who do like these things you want to let go of, and then like who do I feel like I am if it wasn't if I hadn't been told anything about myself my whole life. Like who was I when I was a child? When do I feel alive? When do I feel connected to things? When do I feel like myself, like my pure authentic self? And so touching that energy and just kind of like holding on to that and like allowing that to come in, and then pushing out some of like these limiting beliefs that maybe don't serve you anymore. Okay, so we'll look at your oracle cards. Okay, so I think just going along with that, we have the Death card, which again doesn't mean physical death, right? There's a saying in a lot of spiritual realms, like die before you die. So this is just really about like the life, death, life cycle. Like, so sometimes we have this life that we live and these things that go on and who we think we are. And then all things like that have to die and change before we can get to, this other side, this other abundance of who we really are. So death is, I welcome death in all its forms in life. I think it's so important to understand we have to go through things. We have to let things change. Like when a caterpillar becomes a butterfly, literally turns into like a pile of goo, right? Or it becomes a butterfly. So there's really no, I'm sure that caterpillar is like, see ya, I'm dead, but then it comes back as a butterfly. So there's no escaping like the process of letting things die and then having them come back. We see that in nature all the time with the seasons, with cycles, with all of that. So I think this is just what we're talking about. You have to let some of these stories die. And sometimes we feel scared to let them go because we're like, well, this is who I associated as myself for a long time, even if I didn't like it, right? So sometimes it's hard to let things die if just because something is familiar. But this is really saying, you really need to let go of some of those judgment thoughts, some of those ways that you're not being kind to yourself, all of that going on. And there's, yeah, very beautiful imagery here. Okay, and then we have the peacock feather. So this is 18, breaks down to 9. Peacock is about miracles. It's about knowing that like miracles are natural and normal. It's just we get socialized out of them and we focus so much on things that are not working for us that we don't see the 8 million things that happen a day that are for our highest good, that help us, that support us. So this peacock energy is really about like, you know, trusting that there is magic in everything that happens. There is a point besides things that happen. And again, even if it is just like choosing to be more loving and kind and accepting to yourself, right? There's a lot of lessons we wouldn't have learned unless we were forced to learn them. And that's just part of Earth School. And we're not condoning like abusive behavior or messed up behavior or anything like that. But this is about just knowing like there is a miracle always involved, right? There's always something involved. And as long as you attune yourself to be able to look for it and honor it, like that's part of being radically accountable for yourself, is like knowing that you do need to be accountable and choose things even when it feels annoying or like you don't want to choose it or whatever. Like this is part of that energy of just like a lot of miracles can happen for you, and just like having faith in that. Because we have this card, instead of praying for an outcome, I pray for the highest good of all. So this is kind of along the same energy of what I was just talking about, where sometimes, you know, when we pray, we think, oh, if God loves me, I'll have this, or if spirit loves me, I'll have this, or if I'm on the right path, you know, sometimes we can like be bargaining, right? Like, oh, well, if this is really the path for me, then it'll happen. And if God really loves me, then this will happen. But the truth is, like, we can only see a little part of the whole picture. And so if we just pray for like the highest good to come to us, that can be so beneficial for us in ways that we don't even know about, or ways that we're not sure about, or ways that, you know, that we might be holding on to, or ways that we might be blocking because we're just focused on this one tiny little thing that might not actually be the highest good for all. So you can obviously, of course, pray for what you want, but just say, please give me this or something better. And so it's a good way to kind of like leave it up to spirit and like universal intelligence to kind of like intercede and maybe take care of things for you if you're really focused and like can't get past like this one particular thing. And I think, you know, again, there could be this idea of maybe this way you see yourself, but maybe, you know, there might be a path that's better for you. So you can think about that when you're praying. And then this is really nice. We have Diana, the goddess Diana, focus, intention, keep your unwavering thoughts, feelings, and actions focused on your target, and you will make your mark. Okay, so I think again, this is really just what we're saying, you know, with like miracles and with just focusing on like, okay, I know this is who I am. I know I can exist beyond, you know, feeling stressed out or painful or like I have to give up, or, you know, like you're not here to just like push through horrible, miserable feelings all the time, right? So just really be focused and really know like I am going to make a beautiful life for myself. I'm going to create peace and abundance within myself. I'm going to have like an amazing relationship with myself. And when you do that with focused intention, that is what gets you to the other side. And that is what makes it possible, instead of just like, you know, being like, oh, we'll see, you know, this will happen and we'll see what happens. But like your life gets better by choice, not by chance. And so you have to be really clear of just really identify the ways like, I don't want to be like this anymore. I don't want to carry this story anymore. I don't want to carry these things anymore. And when you do that, that opens up for all this abundance to come into your life. And then the last card we have is so cute. It's a smile card, the sunflower card. Simply smile and notice the profound and healing difference it makes. So this reading was kind of intense in terms of like, you know, let things go, don't let things affect you. It's time to become a new person, blah, blah, whatever. And that's like good if you want to be, you know, even when we talked about with Diana with like focused intention, right? It's good that we want to be clear about like, okay, this is what I need to do for myself. This is how I need to show up for myself. This is what I need to have happen. But don't forget to just like enjoy your life on the way. Don't forget to stop and smell the sunflowers, right? Don't forget to stop and just smile and enjoy yourself and just trust yourself and trust that like this journey that you're on and the path that you're taking on, again, like even when you get to the next thing that you're trying to have, or when you release some of these stories, or, you know, you release some of this like shadow self that we started your reading off with, it is important to remember that, you know, when you do notice like just finding small moments of joy in everyday life while you are focused on the bigger picture and the things you do want to have happen, like it is going to make a difference in your life and your energy. And again, this isn't spiritually bypassing, but it is important to see if, even if you can just find 10 seconds of joy in a day, it really will make a difference in your life and your relationship with yourself and how you move forward and how you choose to do things for yourself in the future. So just remember to smile. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy full moon, or whenever you're watching this. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. Happy full moon. Just a reminder, the full moon is about releasing things, it's about letting things go, it's about, cycles coming to an end and what you can let go of. So for group 3, you picked each breath confirms how awake I already am. So I think this is really saying if you've been playing small or doubting yourself or not really feeling like, can I trust myself? Can I hear myself? Where's my intuition? This card is really saying you can, and each breath, especially mindful breathing, can be a time for you to like really connect to yourself and really trust what's going on within your heart. And just, yeah, again, each breath confirms how awake I already am. So just knowing like you have what's inside of you to feel good, to feel clear, to feel like, you know what's going on. Sometimes we're so focused on our growth and so focused on like, okay, I need to grow and change in this area or in this way or in this thing in my life, that sometimes we can like forget all the ways that we are magically attuned, we are connected, all the things we are doing that is supporting us right now. And like, it's obviously good to want to grow and change and become better in certain ways, but this card is really just saying like, don't forget, just with mindful breathing, how clear and powerful you can feel and how connected to yourself you can be. So with this full moon, let go of some of those self-doubts, set the intention to do that, set the intention to just be shown the ways that you like can and do show up for yourself, and already have like a very healthy, sorry, my hair is driving me crazy, healthy, loving relationship with yourself. Okay, so first I'm going to start with your tarot, and then we'll clarify with your oracle cards like usual. Okay, so we have the Lovers, then we have Four of Wands, then we have the Two of Pentacles, and then we have Six of Cups, and then we have the Four of Swords, and then we have the Fool, and then we have the Six of Wands. Okay, so this is just a general reading, and also because it's not a love-focused reading, I don't really read the Lovers as like romantic partner stuff, but if that resonates for you, go ahead and read it that way. Maybe what can come up, what I'm saying, you can look at it as like with a romantic partner, but again, because all of my readings, these readings for YouTube, I do tend to be on like focusing on yourself and owning your own power and clarity within yourself. So because of that, I think, with the Lovers, I read this as like merging like your masculine and feminine energy within yourself. So regardless of what gender you are, all of us have masculine and feminine energy inside of us. It's these two halves of a whole, and there's times in our lives where we need more masculine energy, which is very like, go out there, get it done, do it, push yourself, all this. And we have more feminine energy, which is about like receiving and allowing and being still and not pushing so hard. So I think this is really saying, you've merged that, you completed it in some way in your life to the point that it's brought you abundance. The Four of Wands is about, it's like the 1111 card. It's the gateway. It's kind of like you've mastered this balance somewhere in your life of being able to be like, okay, here's where I need feminine energy. Here's where I need masculine energy. I know what spaces I need to be like this more, spaces I need to be like that more. And it's brought you like into abundance in some way. It could be with a romantic partner. It could be in your job. It could be in your relationship with yourself. It could be in like your living space, something like that. But this is really saying, there is some merging of that and some trust in yourself that you've done that has been able to help you kind of like move into this gateway of like abundance within yourself. And then because from that, we have the Two of Pentacles. So that has even resulted to the point that you have so much abundance that like you get to choose two different things, so you get to choose like a lot of, like this is juggling two options. This is juggling two layers of abundance, like making a choice, kind of like, maybe you're in a place right now of like, well, I don't know which one to choose. Maybe you finally, sometimes we can focus so much on like, I'm working to achieve this thing. I'm working to get here. I'm working to do this. And then once we get there, we're like, oh shit, now I have to choose which thing I want, or I have to like get more clear about what I want. And so maybe with this full moon, you know, you can set the intention of choosing between two things, making the choice, making the decision, just getting clear about the ways that, you know, maybe you thought, okay, well, I thought I had to choose this specific thing, but now turns out I don't have to because I wanted this other thing in particular. So this is just about, again, getting clear about, you know, what are these two things that can happen. And so like a lot of merging of like knowingness within yourself. This can also be a merging of like physical and spiritual you within yourself. Like that's how I read the Lovers. So when it comes up in like a reading just focused on a person, or a gateway with that, and just really owning, you know, sometimes we do have more than one option, and sometimes we get so focused on, you know, even what we were talking about, like each breath confirms how awake I already am. Even when you focus on that, sometimes we can be like, oh yeah, when I remember who I am, like my whole life changes because I know I have options. I know I can choose a certain thing that's best for me. Like I don't have to like suffer and struggle through everything all the time. Because the center of your reading, we have the Six of Cups. So this is really about, this is like the inner child card. This is about connecting to your inner self. It's about like feeling your emotions and like choosing from a way that there is a time to be logical, but this card is about choosing from a way to, um, you know, really honor like what our inner child wants, right? So if you're choosing between two decisions, obviously there has to be some logical things. There has to be some like 3D reality, practical things to work out. But don't forget that you can choose like the thing that makes your inner child happy. You can choose joy, you can choose fun, you can choose playfulness. You can choose all of that to come through for you with this inner child card. So like don't just feel like you know, you have to like choose like the only logical rigid whatever thing. This can be about like trusting, connecting to your inner child. So I feel like maybe if you've been overly logical or overly focused on I need to do this and this thing to make sure these things show up in my life, this with this full moon you can kind of be like, how have I silenced my inner child? How do I want to let go of doubting my inner child? What do I want to bring into my life to like have that abundance be around me? So this can really be again about owning, like, you know, just own it and know that like this is for my inner child. This is what I want. This is what I want to have happen, and kind of what makes us happy. You know, sometimes again we get really focused on making a decision that's like looks good on paper or is a logical one, but it's like how many times do we like check in with ourselves and be like, well, is that actually what my heart wants, what my inner child wants? Like, you know, being happy and fulfilled is more important than chasing this infinite capitalistic bullshit that gets like pushed onto us all the time. Because when I see from that, you know, sometimes I think it's really, this goes right into the Four of Swords. And so that you might need to take a little break. You might need to take a little time off. You might need to take some, this is about stillness and kind of like reflecting on your thoughts. So even this person sleeping, hands are in prayer. So, you know, if you want to pray about it, ask about it, just kind of put your weapons down, just rethink, take a moment to pause. So just really thinking about this energy. So if you are into journaling, I would say it would be a good day to journal around what do I need to feel full and complete? How can I listen to my inner child? What would make that feel good and happy and healthy, right? So that coming up, because what we have that leads into the rest of your reading is the Fool into the Six of Wands. So this really beautiful energy. So the Fool is kind of like, you know, is about to walk off a cliff, feels a little crazy, feels a little, you know, but to the outside world, what you choose, maybe listening to your inner child, maybe going to that next place, it might seem like it doesn't make logical sense to the world. Like, hey man, that's like, you're about to jump off a cliff. That's not really super smart, right? But this can be about just trusting yourself, maybe looking foolish to other people, but knowing that if you've taken the time to connect with your inner child and connect with what's speaking to you, this is going to be like a really beautiful, abundant thing for you. This is going to be something that is for your highest good, that feels really helpful. And, you know, it might be off to a rocky start as you get your footing, which sometimes can happen with the Fool too. But you see the ending of your reading, the outcome with this full moon is the Six of Wands. So it's like, when you do trust yourself, this is like a parade and like I feel good and being celebrated, right? When you do trust yourself, even if it's rocky in the beginning or think it looks uncertain, or, you know, people project their uncertainty about themselves onto you with the choices you make, this can still result in like a really beautiful, celebratory, amazing thing for you, right? It doesn't just have to be like, oh, I made this choice and now it doesn't feel good and whatever. So I think, you know, looking at your reading as a whole, when you've merged with this spiritual knowing in yourself and you've like taken all parts of you to come together, like I think this is more about like the feeling that wholeness in yourself, and now you have choices in physical reality of what you want to do. And so connecting with your inner child, getting really clear about what your inner child is saying, what they're saying, not just the logical mind. You have to have a balance, taking some time to reflect on that, and then moving forward with something that, again, might seem foolish to other people, but feels like it's your truth within you. And you are going to end up like celebrating yourself, having a mini parade for yourself. Like it's just an emotional parade, but just feeling really proud of who you are and the choices you've made. Is going to really, really serve you long term with that. Okay, so let's look at your oracle cards. Okay, so we'll start with this one. So we have manifest. So I think this is really saying, this is just echoing the energy of like the Fool energy of like you can, like you've already accomplished and merged like your shit on the energetic level. And then anything we see in physical reality is just like a reflection of where we've been able to tap into that energy within ourselves with things we can control. Obviously, you're not responsible for people outside of you. You're not responsible for how people act outside of you. You're not responsible for anyone else. You're just responsible for you and yourself. Okay, but so this is really saying like, you can manifest things once you tap into that frequency within yourself. So once you like own that power within yourself, that's when you're able to start making decisions from an empowered place, when you're able to like move out of victim consciousness a little bit. And so this is really saying that is possible for you with all of that. Because we have this beautiful called blossoming. You are just getting started. So have patience with yourself in the process and do not give up, right? It's a really funny thing about being on Earth is, you know, we're so focused sometimes on the lesson we're in or the season we're in, and we're like, I have to get through this, I have to do this, and then whatever. And then once we complete it, it's like, oh wait, there's more, there's another, there's like, we are so infinite and we have so many options for ourselves and so many choices and things to do and grow and ways to move along on this earth that, you know, you're just getting started. So have patience with yourself in the process and do not give up. So this is a way, just a reminder that like, if it feels like maybe you've learn this lesson or you want something different or you need something new, just remember like this is, if you were done with your lessons, you wouldn't need to be on earth anymore, right? If you were done learning, there would be no need for you to be here. So just having faith that, you know, this is a process and there are things to work through and move through. And there are ways that you do need to just trust yourself and have faith and keep showing up. And, you know, your life is going to continue to grow and change as you continue to grow and change. And so I think these two, well, we'll start with this one. You are healed. The healing you've prayed for is on its way. So that's really beautiful. So I feel like maybe if you're, you know, in this spot, maybe you've been contemplative, you've been like, what the hell do I do? What's going on? Why is this so annoying? Why is this so frustrating? Just have a little faith, know that, you know, it is on its way to you, even if it doesn't feel like it. There's so many things happening energetically that we don't know about. And so if you can just have faith and trust yourself, like it's going to make things more bearable. And again, I know easier said than done, but this is just a little reminder. If you can just kind of imagine your heart opening and like accepting that kindness for yourself. Because we have this one, when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. So I love that one too, just cute little owls nesting and kind of like hugging each other, just like comforting each other. It's so cute, right? So when I lean on the faith of the universe, peace becomes real. So this is just a way for you to just, you know that you can have faith, you can trust yourself, because any desire that's in your heart, right, it didn't come from nowhere. It came from God, it came from source, spirit, whatever you want to call it. So when you have faith that like, okay, well, I know this is kind of where I want to be leading and be led, you know, peace can become real when you know that there is a higher power looking out for you and there are things happening for you. And then this is just a little, it doesn't really go with your reading, but it's just a nice touch with some of the things we've talked about. We have the guinea fowl card, so the feather. So this is a 10, breaks down to a 1. So this is really about community, like community energy. So I feel like maybe if you felt like you've been alone on your spiritual path, or maybe you've been weathering a lot of these things on your own, like reach out to people who you know, love, and care about you, and just offer, you know, see if they can hold you. Maybe you need a little extra care right now, right? Just the community you were born into or people you've been around doesn't mean that has to be your permanent community, right? You can choose to pick things that feel good for you. You can choose community that honors you, that loves you, that respects you. So you can choose to do all of that. And, you know, knowing that like we are an interdependent species, it is important to have community love and care about us. And so I think that's just a little, if you felt maybe alone or like you're doing this on your own, just finding people who can show up for you and just hold you as you move through a lot of this energy. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Happy full moon, or whenever you're watching this reading. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 4. So as a reminder, this is a full moon, so we want to focus on releasing things. So that's how I'm going to read the cards today. If you're not watching this on a full moon, of course, there's probably still a message in here for you. So thank you so much, and yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so you picked group 4, and also I will feel better once I get the rest I need. So sometimes these cards can be interpreted in different ways, but I feel like this one is pretty straightforward, right? I'll feel better once I get the rest I need. So I feel like this is really saying, obviously, there's a time for rest. There's a time to allow things to process. There's a time for us when we've overextended ourselves to kind of like tap back into some of that energy within ourselves. So what do you need to pull your energy back from? It could be physical rest, obviously. So if you need to sleep a little bit more, but it also can be rest around like, what have I invested in or put my time and energy into that maybe I can connect back to myself. I can be more loving and kind to myself around that. So I will feel better once I get the rest I needed. So maybe, yeah, just with this full moon, thinking on where can I kind of call back my energy and let go of some of like the expectations and push I've had on myself to show up in these countless ways that I don't actually like need to be doing so, you know? So yeah, rest is important, helpful, just as important as, you know, the energy we put to make something happen or do something for ourselves. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot and then we'll clarify with your oracle cards at the end. Okay, wow, okay. So we have Page of Wands in reverse. Then we have the Ace of Wands. Then we have 2 of Swords. And then we have 7 of Swords. And then we have the 4 of Cups. And then we have the 9 of Cups. And we have the 10 of Swords. Okay, so these some cards that maybe, you know, you feel like are a little triggering, but we're going to talk about it. Don't click off. Okay. This is really I feel a lot of like disconnect from yourself with this group. So I feel like that's kind of what it's saying. I'll feel better once I get the rest I need. Sometimes when we're out of alignment or disconnected from ourselves, it's harder for us to make a decision that's actually helpful for us because we're so focused on things outside of us, or we're not rested, so we're not connected to ourselves. We can't hear anything. So if that's going on, then, you know, I feel a lot of confusion and self-judgment with this group, and a lot of like yeah, just you like doubting yourself, or a lot of shame or judgment on something. So okay, let me just get into it instead of just talking. Okay, so first we have the Page of Wands in reverse. So I feel like you, so upright, this is about a new idea, new energy, fresh start coming in. So I feel like you maybe thought you wanted one thing, or you were really focused on, I'm going to have this thing happen, or this is what it's going to be like, or this is what I'm going to move towards. And then all of a sudden it was just like you had a divine intervention and you just got pushed into like, nope, actually it needs to be this other thing, right? So maybe your eyes, you were focused on this, your sights were set on it, you were like, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe you were making a decision based on it, you were planning these other things in your life all around it, right? So maybe that's what was going on. And then all of a sudden it was like, nope, like I'm ready for something else. I'm done now. I'm ready for there to be this other thing happening for me. And there has to be something else going on. And so because of that, like just maybe felt out of nowhere, or maybe you chose something that like you never thought you were going to choose. So this could be romantic partner, could be job, could be moving somewhere, it could be, I mean, you know, again, take it how it resonates, just a general reading. But I feel like there's just a lot of energy of, you know, you got really close to something and then you were like, psych, nope, that's not it, right? Examining it, thinking about it, nope, not that one. That's not what I actually wanted or what I thought I wanted. And instead we have this Ace of Wands here that's way more about you know, something new kind of coming out of nowhere, this hand coming out of nowhere, offering this to you, choosing, making a new decision, just kind of like caught you off guard. And maybe like feeling, you know, just how did I choose this? This isn't what I was thinking at all for myself. Because with that, we have the 2 of Swords. So this is about like, you know, not wanting to see the situation for what it is and like refusing to make a decision, right? So there's like two swords, obviously you guys can see it's like this, and the person is like not, they're just holding them up. It's kind of like blocking your connection to yourself, blocking your own energy. And like the moon and the water, right? That's symbolic for like our intuition, for connecting to ourselves. So this energy here is about like, you know, what ways are you blocking yourself? What ways are you feeling like, yeah, you just like you're trying to make this decision, but it feels like you're stuck at a crossroads, right? It's like you have these two things that seem contradictory or counterintuitive, or like, how could I go from this to this? How could this be one way and then this is something else, right? So feeling that energy of like, wow, how did I get here? How did this happen? And then what I feel like um is happening is there's like hints of both things, right? There's like the last four cards of your reading, the Seven of Swords, the Four of Cups, the Nine of Cups, and the Ten of Swords. This really feels like a lot of contradictory energy. It feels like a lot of like you're just coming to terms with like, wow, maybe this is a new direction I want to head in, a new thing I want to choose for my life. I never thought I would choose that for myself. And so this is kind of, I feel like right now, this is like, you're just coming out of like the denial stage of like, wow, am I there? Is this like what, is this what's really happening? Is this who I am? Is this what's going on? Right. So this could be the denial stage. And then here we have the Seven of Swords, which some people think this is about like sneakiness and stuff, but I feel like with the rest of the energy of this cup, this is like self-prescribed shame. This is like feeling guilty or feeling like you're a bad person or feeling like you're disappointing people. If you choose this one instead of this one, like if you focus on like, oh, well, I thought it was gonna be that one, but now it's that. And I feel like part of the denial piece has been you're casting some judgment on yourself about this, or you're feeling like, well, I'm not a good person if I choose this, or think about these people all let down, or think about these things that were invested in that if I choose this other thing. And because here I feel like this is really, you know, like you're being offered abundance and something in front of you, but you see like the arms crossed. That's the same energy as like the arms crossed here, and also in this one. So I feel like there's a lot of like pushing away things that are coming towards you or that are being gifted to you or the guidance you're getting, and you're just like, no, like I don't want that. I'm not going to look at it. Like I'm not ready to look at it. And like this isn't about rushing yourself. It's just about, with this full moon energy, you can think about like, please remove me from like the bondage of myself. You can write that prayer. You can say like, please let me find ways that this could actually you know, benefit me. Please let me see how like I'm being guided to this for a reason and it actually can be helpful for me, right? So this is really saying like you're being gifted a blessing right now. So, and this is again the same hand here of like, here it is, I'm literally handing it to you, like what are you going to do with it? But part of you knows it's what you want, because this is Nine of Cups is about like a wish fulfilled. It is about like choosing something for your highest good. It is about knowing that you have a lot of options. You can choose something. This is someone, you know, like he does have his arms crossed in this one, but it's more of like a, I did it, like here I am, right? So this one is more about like a wish fulfilled, more so than, you know, not accepting some of those things coming to you. So part of you knows it's the right thing. Part of you knows this is something that's going to serve you. Part of you knows this is on your path for a reason and it is the thing for you. But there's just a lot of again, like it feels really heavy, like judging yourself energy, because again, what we have here, outcome of your reading, 10 of Swords. So this is about like, this is, you got to kill the ego. This is about, you got to like accept a layer of death, and it could just even be like your attachment to this idea, right? You have to, even if you willingly choose to not choose something, even if you willingly choose to not choose something, okay, we're good. There's still like a mourning and a loss process, because some of your energy was invested into choosing that. And so with this, it is about just like knowing, you know, what do you have to let die? What do you have to let yourself be killed by your own thoughts so that you can release them, you can let them go? And even if we're on the topic of rest here, right, I will feel better once I get the rest I needed. Sometimes part of resting is like allowing that stuff to be processed and allowing you to release it, and like allowing yourself to let go of it and move into like this new space within yourself. So part of this is really just saying like, you know, you got to let it go when it's showing up. You got to let yourself be killed by these thoughts, these judgment thoughts. You really have to like look at them in the face so you can move forward and kind of like be cleared and be free from it, because you aren't going to get free from it until you like look it in the face, accept it, hear what it has to say, and then let it go, instead of just, you know, letting these thoughts run rampant. And I think this is, again, like, you can identify, what are the judgment thoughts I have about this? What am I saying about myself that doesn't feel good about this? What am I believing about myself doesn't feel good? And then like let those thoughts kill you and feel like bad, and then you have to heal it to feel it. So letting it come through for you, and then know you can get healing on the other side. You can get to the other side filled with you know, abundance and clarity, but you have to listen to your fear stories if you want to be able to work through them. If you don't identify them, then you can't change them. So this is really, sometimes it's annoying, right? But this is part of the process to be able to do that. Okay, let me look at your oracle cards. Oh. Okay, so we'll start with this one. So this is the Goshawk. It's a 27, breaks down to a 9. So this card is really about healing energy. Some things, this is about like, you know, this could be, this is also connected to like healing trauma that's like passed down in family lines. So this could be, you know, maybe you're breaking away from something that was like taught to you, or maybe you're choosing something that goes against the grain and in like the space you grew up in, or trauma that happened to your ancestral lineage. And if that's the case, this is really saying there is healing coming in, and this is a time for you to be able to you know, really look at those stories, be really honest, and like kind of release them and let them go. So this is really about like, you hold that power within yourself, and it is up to you to be able to choose something different and rewrite like a new narrative for yourself around that. So healing, and again, part of healing is identifying these fear stories, identifying these things that have been floating around in this world, and then just choosing like, okay, I'm not going to buy into that anymore. Because what do we have? We have this one. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. So I think this is really saying, you know, trust your growth, trust things that, you know, maybe you're the only person you know who is acting this way. You're the only person you know who is choosing to do something different. You're the only person you know who, whatever, but trust and have faith that when I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. Trust that like you wouldn't be pushed to make these changes or do something different if it was coming from a malicious place. Like when you rest and you get still and you listen to yourself and you can feel it's time for you to change, it's coming from a place of like, this is my path to get to my highest self. And that's true. So just really honoring that. And then this card, Connect to Heart. So another really beautiful card here. So I think, you know, again, if you're feeling like whatever judgment and shame you have here, just remember, like, if you can, you put your hand on your heart and just say like, please help me, even though I'm judging myself, like God, spirit, higher power, please help me see myself with love and care and compassion right now. Please help me, let me see myself with you know, like all the loving kindness that you see me with. So if you can just connect to like your heart, connect to this unconditional love and care that does exist for you because you are here on earth, you're supposed to be here. When you do all of that, that's going to open up, you know, this ability for you to soften some of that energy to yourself and just feel more clear and peaceful within yourself with that. And then we have Let Your Inner Beauty Shine, Pink Rose. You are a brilliant example of God's love. Everything about you is perfect, so let your light shine and inspire others. So this is similar language here. When I focus on my inner light, I see the world through the lens of love. That's similar language to this, which is you're a beautiful example of God's love. Everything about you is perfect, so let your light shine and inspire others. So again, sometimes when we're like, I don't want to change, I don't want to become this other person, I don't want to choose this thing or whatever, you know, like that's all of our ego. And we have to trust that, again, the path that we're being pushed on is something that is for our highest good. And once you get to the other side of that growth, and once you move into becoming more of who you are, and like kind of let go of some of these things that we thought we had to be, that's when like your true beauty shows. Like when we're always inspired by people who are being their authentic selves, right? That's energy you cannot fake, you cannot manipulate, you cannot guess like, oh, well, who is that person, what are they doing? It's like when we see that, you know it, right? You know when people are living their authentic self. And we just love that, you know, like as humans and on the soul level, we connect with that. And that's what's really saying. So, you know, let your inner beauty shine, trust the growth, trust the things you're choosing, even if you have a lot of guilt or shame or judgment about yourself. If you do that, this is really saying like let go of that. Again, I know easier said than done, but it is worth it on the other side when you are able um to just own that and own your inner light. And then last one is we have the goddess Vesta, home. So your household situation is improving either through a move or a healthy change in the occupant. So I think, even if it's not your physical home, this could be maybe if you're releasing, again, we're talking about like lineage stuff or family stuff or whatever with the healing card, with the Goshawk card. Maybe this is something that's coming up for you with that. So maybe some of the shame that's coming up is maybe, things from your household. So if you've been waiting to move out, wanting to move out, that could be happening for you. Healthy change and people, your community, who you're surrounded with, could be coming through for you with that. So hang in there, have some faith. You're going to get through this, but just know that, it is important for you to rest, to honor yourself, to listen to yourself, and know that this abundance and who you're meant to be will be celebrated by people around you, who you can find. So just know that healing is your birthright. You are allowed to be abundant and be here. And just allow yourself to look at yourself with loving kindness and peace. Okay, that's everything I have for you. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Happy full moon. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful day.